أهلا وسهلا لضيوفنا الكرامين المحترمين. Hello to our guests here in the Education Summit. Sumaya Al-Mahiri. أهلا. Hello. She's a social activist and the founder of the Joint Study of Hebrew-Arabic Language and Culture Project. And we are be honored to host Mr. Dr. Majid Al-Sarah. أهلا.
أهلا وسهلا.
He's an expert in public policy and legitimacy, and we're going to start it by saying hello to Sumaya and ask her about her wonderful project, Learning Arabic and Hebrew. It's a project that you're the pioneer. Please tell us about the project and about yourself too.
Okay, so shalom, mashlomchem. My name is Sumaya and I'm 29 years old from the United Arab Emirates, living in the beautiful city of Dubai. I'm an engineer with a passion for midwifery and volunteering. I love to travel, meet new people, and get to discover their cultures and languages. I love music, adventure, and of course, I love delicious food.
So how come UAE girl decided to learn Hebrew?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I have a passion for diversity and learning about different cultures, which includes their languages, their music, and their traditions. And I have come across a few Yemenite Jewish songs and dances that caught my attention. One of the most famous performers, I think being Ofra Haza, it was difficult not to notice the strong similarities between the two languages, Hebrew and Arabic, and the vocabulary, the pronunciation. I also enjoyed comparing the likeliness of the traditional clothes of both cultures. And I started looking deeper into the languages, learning it by myself. But the problem is I faced the style of learning with applications and the website, so it wasn't my thing. I started searching up what was satisfactory to me, and I wanted the language exchange type of style where I can communicate and have a one-on-one conversation with people. So I thought of the idea of creating the WhatsApp group. I started sending the link of the WhatsApp group to the applications for like language applications and language links or websites. And to my surprise, many native Hebrew speakers were interested and started joining my group, as well as native Arabic speakers. And like today, I have from around the world native Arabic and Hebrew speakers from the Philippines to the Argentina.
So we have like 250 members in your group that included which countries, for example?
Well, it's all over the world. People living in Philippines and Emirates, Bahrain, all over the Levantine, all over like the Arab world and in Europe and in the Americas.
So do you think that this culture, this Hebrew Arabic lessons, we can say it's like a bridge to the cultures, to the youth, to the next generation?
Yeah, my language exchange group was meant to have a very casual environment where everyone can share everything and discuss anything, as long as they do not cross any rules or guidelines that I have put for them. So
yeah. you have a strict rules in your group.
Well, you could say so. It's very casual, but as well as You know, I put guidelines because I have to set them to protect the family atmosphere of the group. So, for example, we would speak both Arabic and Hebrew about all types of subjects, including food, adventures, education, traditions, celebration, and anything you can imagine. And sometimes we used English to mediate between the two languages. You know, sometimes there are beginners and we have to mediate between them. But I would tolerate anything except crossing the rules. I do not allow the members to, or I even, to share any political views or news. I would not allow bullying, harassment. Neither did I ever allow religious debates or content that is irrelative to learning the language. All members are expected to behave in a respectful manner towards each other, and to this day, these rules have really shown to keep the group going amazingly smooth, all happily benefiting from each other and developing their languages.
Dr. Majid, you're teaching in the university in Dubai, and you met the younger generation in Dubai, and of course, meeting with the Israelis. Can you give us your perspective about the relationship between the two younger people?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, Naim Miud, it's very nice to meet you here, and thank you so much for hosting me. Basically, I teach in various universities in the UAE, and I met a lot of students. I met a lot of professionals. For the past maybe couple of months, I met a lot of Israelis coming and visiting the UAE, and in particular Dubai. And of course, when the chance is going to be available, a lot of Emiratis are going to visit Israel. What I have noticed that there is a thirst for enriching the knowledge of other cultures between Emiratis, between Israelis, which is something really great. I mean, the young generations do not understand why don't we have, proper relations with Israel. If you go back in the time throughout the history, you would see that this land actually had a lot of diversity in terms of religion, culture, various, origins of the people. And there was a great example of coexistence. We go back to the old Arabia, you would find a lot of Jews living here, a lot of Christians living here in harmony. Everybody was happy. So unfortunately, throughout the history, there have been a lot of movements who actually promoted certain ideologies, and maybe the impact of these ideologies created some kind of hate, some kind of unaccepting the others, with whether your religion is, maybe you could be Jewish, you could be Muslim, you could be Christian. However, gladly, the UAE actually, we all know the UAE declared the year 2019 as the year of tolerance, which basically dragged the coexistence pillars. And maybe the main project that actually came along with this policy was the building of the Abrahamic house. The Abrahamic house actually includes a mosque, and it includes a church, in addition to including a synagogue. So the Pope from Rome was actually in Dubai. They conducted the Holy Mass. And I'm pretty sure there will be other initiatives and other activities, including, Judaism and also Islam. There will be another initiative too, including, all the Abrahamic religions as main religions, okay? And that's the main thing, because the young ones here, they are really so enthusiastic when it comes to science, to building a future for the next generations and so on. I've seen a lot of, there is actually a new council which has been done and conducted between Emiratis and between Israelis. A lot of people from Israel, from the UAE, are working on various projects on it. We were advising, me and another professor from Israel. He's actually affiliated with the Moshe Dayan Research Center. And then we were so amazed to see how those people were so energized, even though they did not meet with each other, they know maybe a few informations about each other, but they were so eager, so, enthusiastic and dedicated a lot of their times in order to work, on some projects to promote peace, to promote culture, to promote tourism between countries. And believe it or not, I mean, everybody is excited. I had a lot of people visiting Dubai, and everybody was like, wow, this is, we did not expect to see Dubai, the way it is. We have seen a lot of images, a lot of videos on the media, lots of movies describing Dubai as just a desert, an empty land, nothing is there. But we know about Burj Khalifa, but we didn't know what's going to be there, under Burj Khalifa. And everybody was amazed. The best thing...
I've just returned from Dubai, 1 week in Dubai. I met Sumaya, and unfortunately we didn't get meeting with you. But honestly, I've seen, like, I was shocked, shocked by, I was visiting in a lot of Arabic countries, and when I were in Dubai, I was totally shocked about what are you saying, that the kindness of people. I've met with Syrian, Iraqian, Lebanese, Emiratis, and what is so special in Dubai that it happened?
Absolutely. First of all, I can assure you, Asaf, we will definitely meet very soon, you and I, and any other people, inshallah. So, by the way, this is really another amazing element. We all saw the video where you were singing in Hebrew in Dubai by the creek, with a lovely music. The video was marvelous. It was really amazing.
Thank you.
Everybody, you're welcome. Everybody loved it. And look, we need similar messages to be sent to the people. And what is so special about Dubai? Because Dubai worked a lot, not just within 1 year, not just within a couple of years. Throughout the time, of 30 years as minimum, Dubai promoted a lot of coexistent and tolerance policies. I recall a saying by His Highness, may he rest in peace, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan, who is basically the founder of the UAE, where when the UAE was at the beginning of its development, so they told him, don't you worry about a lot of, expats and a lot of people living in Dubai, living in the UAE. And he said, the land belongs to God. People are people, and coexistence has been our policy throughout history. So welcome to everybody and anybody in our lands. And that was the trigger, that actually took UAE to be one of the leading tolerant countries in the world. And the other thing, people, if you notice the diversity in Dubai, sometimes you would actually feel you're not in Dubai. You would feel like you're in another country, maybe from the West or Europe. And at the same moment, moving to another place, you would actually feel like you're going back throughout history. If you go to the creek and, use one of the old boats, which is called Abra, okay, and take it to move to the other side. I believe Sumaya maybe made a lot of trips, using this Abra.
Actually, we made it together with a group of people from Israel and from Dubai.
Yes.
It was great.
Yes.
Thank you, Sumaya. Thank you.
Yes, it is. And this is why, Asaf, maybe you have noticed that the blending between people in Dubai is really on a very high level. One more thing, if anybody is thinking, we don't want to implement a lot of, policing policies, However, the regulatory framework is totally astonishing because we have a law against hate. So basically, it's not legal to hate. If you discriminate, amongst people based on race, based on religion, based on origin, based on color, whatever it is, you're going to be subject to a legal action. So basically, it's not.
I understood that you have a minister of joyness, a minister of joy.
No, we have a minister of happiness.
Happiness, yes, sorry.
Yes, we would have a minister of happiness, Her Excellency Uhud al-Rumi, and we would have a minister for tolerance, which is His Highness Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak al-Nahyan. So both of them actually, they're working really hard in creating a lot of initiatives, a lot of sustainable policies on embracing other religions, other humans, because after all, look, Asaf, we are all humans, okay? We live in peace. Whatever your belief is, we have to respect it, okay?
Yeah.
And we live all together for the sake of humanity, for the sake of next generation and building better future. So these kind of policies actually promoted a lot of acceptance for the other people in the UAE.
Ms. Sumaya, can I ask you, we talked about the girl power in Dubai, in the UAE. There is a lot of ministers, women ministers. Can you tell us, please, as you mentioned, you are the pioneer of this kind of project. Can you tell us about what do you think about the girl power in the UAE?
I mean, well, let's start with Sheikh, His Highness Sheikh Zayed, may his soul rest in peace. He has always encouraged women to rise up, and he encouraged education. And women in our country have a very important role, not only as mothers and wives and sisters and daughters, but also as engineers, doctors, and even scientists. Women in the UAE have always had a very important role in the society and in the country. Like even by percentage, lots of them, like the majority of university graduates are women, and the majority, like there's a very high percentage of women in the work field. So our country has really taken care of us women and saw the importance that women can make in the society.
Yeah, back to your group, people in your group, they're talking about visiting Dubai, one visiting the Emirates.
Yes, of course, lots of them have, and I have told them that once you pay me a visit, I might pay you a visit as well. So you gotta you gotta pay me back when I come back to you guys. So actually, my passion is to meet and connect with people, learn from them, as well as share with them my background, my culture, my experiences in life. I really want all societies from every nation to thrive with diversity, acceptance, and tolerance. And it has always been my childhood dream to visit the old city of Jerusalem, and as well as see the ancient history of the culture, and as well as pay a visit to many new friends from different cities, which I have made through the language exchange group. It would be really my greatest honor and pleasure.
Majid, what do you think? You mentioned few projects that making the tolerance and the cognizance in UAE.
Yes.
Do you have some special projects except business? I know there is a lot of businessmen from Israel coming to Dubai, to the UAE, and just now this week where we had a lot of projects. What do you think about the next days, next months about the cognizance in Israel and UAE?
Yes, absolutely. Maybe as I mentioned earlier, there would be the main project, which is going to be the Abrahamic House, and it's going to be established in Abu Dhabi. It's a very good project. It creates and promotes the positive side of the coexistence. You would have a mosque and a synagogue and a church. Anybody can just go and practice their religion teachings. The other projects I'm expecting to be on the table, that would be a lot of cultural projects. Aside from the business, I mean, the business could be anywhere in the world, and it could be between a lot of like nationalities. There will be a lot of cultural communications between UAE, between Israel, and maybe you have noticed a lot of like aspects which is happening. There will be a cooperation between the federations of the sports. You know, it started with the football. They have signed an agreement with the Israeli Federation. We would see a lot of cooperation between people because the nature.
In January, they had a game, football game with Maccabi Haifa and Al-Ahli?
Al-Ain Club.
Al-Ain Club, yeah.
Yes, and I have received from the director of marketing in Maccabi, I have received my jersey already. And I will wear it going to the match. So this is Asaf. Look, these kind of activities, they will create a bridge between people in terms of coexistence and in terms of tolerance. I mean, sport is one important element of this project. We would see a lot of. I have been in talks with some specialists to conduct cultural activity, which is going to be something similar to, you know, like a theater where people can, you know, work together, Emiratis, Israelis, to create a piece of art to deliver to the people, and not just to the Israelis and Emiratis, but to deliver this to the world. You know, the world has to see this as a pure and successful model of tolerance and coexistence. We don't need more hate in the world. We don't need more discrimination. A lot of, and I'm telling you, a lot of, we would have Expo next year. Israel is going to be a very significant participant in this event. The event will take 6 months. It's a very good opportunity, you know, to have these cultural meetings. GITEX is going to be happening very soon, GITEX exhibition. And I have been invited myself to visit the Israeli booth. And this is a great, and they, believe it or not, they would have joint activities in terms of connection, the people from Israel and the people from the UAE throughout technology, culture, because mainly GITEX is a technological exhibit. And yes, and we will, I can guarantee you this, there is a comprehensive policy made by His Highness Sheikh Nahyan, who is the Minister of Tolerance. The policy covers a lot of aspects in terms of coexistence and building bridges between people, regardless of your background, religion, and race.
So this is your education vision of tolerance.
The education vision, we will see a lot of student exchange programs. A lot of people wants to go and study in Israel and vice versa. I have been in talks with a lot of professors from Israel, and maybe I'm not going to announce something now, but there will be an official announcement of a lot of, you know, educational. Maybe the first of it that you know, the University of Mohammed bin Zayed for AI, artificial intelligence, they already signed an agreement with Israeli institutes. And we will see a lot of students go into Israel, Emirati students, a lot of Israeli students come into the UAE. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a knowledge transfer and knowledge sharing amongst all the students, which will create better future in terms of coexistence and having positive views for the next generations.
So Maya, what is your vision of education, through the language, the culture?
Yeah, I really would like more language exchange to expand. I mean, like, it would be great if schools would start language exchanging, maybe even on Zoom, let's say, or on the web. And little by little, maybe people would fly over here to learn Arabic and vice versa. Why not?
We are seeing at the social media a lot of people from UAE starting learning Hebrew, even sharing their experience, their lessons to all of their followers. Like the language is truly the bridge. We see that there is a lot of people in the UAE that actually want to learn Hebrew.
Yes, that's true. And there are many members in my group that are Emiratis who are interested in learning the language. And not only that, when I really share my passion in learning the Hebrew language, I see that lots of people are also interested in learning the language, but maybe they do not find the means right now to learn it. So I'm really excited to open the opportunities for that. I'd really love to expand the experience.
So, okay, I'm familiar with some project that maybe there will be Hebrew lessons in universities, in schools in UAE. And in that point, I want to thank you a lot, Dr. Majid and Sumaya. And I'd like to see you in Israel visiting, and maybe to exchange some of our beautiful country to your eyes.
תודה רבה. Yes. Thank you so much. תודה רבה. It has been a pleasure, and we will definitely be in Israel. And I would love to thank you and extend my sincere pleasure. And not just me, a lot of people. Your video was a great message to deliver a very good coexistence and tolerance image. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Sumaya, thank you too.
Thank you.
תודה רבה. תודה רבה.
תודה לך.
להתראות.
להתראות.
להתראות. Bye bye.